don't want to get killed, I'm going to do my job, and I'm out. We're going to stop there. I'll open up for questions. But we're going to stop there because then we're going to switch at the second part of this, when we do it next week, and I'll live stream it, to Saul. Because when the Spirit of Yah left Saul, it looks like it left Saul and came to David. Well, Yah's Spirit doesn't work like that. It just jump around because more than one person during that time had the Spirit of Yah. You had prophets, you had other people, but you see that the Spirit, especially when it came to that leadership position, was no longer on him. And everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. It was there on this young man who was not a threat yet, right? Next chapter, he will become a threat. He's not a threat yet. And so it's a perfect place for Yah to be cultivating him until it's time for him to arise and carry out his task. That makes sense? All right, questions, comments, all that other fun stuff. I have 2 minutes. She's showing me. Anybody? Any questions? You can ask questions.
So what does it mean, like, when the Spirit of Yah is upon him? Is it like he's being guided by him, or that he knows his word intuitively, or what does that look like?
Good question. So the Spirit of Yah, there's different words for the Spirit of Yah, which is interesting. This one is the Ruach, right? The Ruach has a specific function, and in his position as a leader, the Ruach, and the function of a Ruach in general, it literally means to go where Yah tells you to go. So as long as the Ruach is on the person, then they're accepting the instruction to go wherever he wants them to go. When the Ruach leaves, it's because you don't want to go. Why would I leave? You're not going. So the whole function of the Ruach is to literally go where Yah, to send you where Yah tells you to go. So his reigns, his authority within is guided by Yah. So when the Ruach leaves, it's not like, oh, and then Yah jumping from person to person to person. No, you're done following Yah. You don't want to follow Yah anymore. The Ruach will dwell as long as you're obedient. So from that moment, he agreed to do and to be everything that Yah told him to do, and the Ruach was upon him, meaning it was leading him. He could hear clearly, he could follow clearly. When you're resistant, you're not gonna feel the Ruach. You get anxiety, you're like, oh, I don't know, I can't, I don't feel right, and then my stomach hurt. So he's like, you know what? This may not be the task for you. I'm gonna go find somebody else. Does that make sense? So Saul, the Ruach leaves him. Why? Why should the Ruach dwell with you? Yah, he's like, I can't dwell with you in disobedience. I'm set apart. You be set apart. I'm holy. You be holy. So if I'm holy, righteous, and I'm allowing my Ruach to dwell in you, and then you start taking my Ruach to places that don't have no business going, I'm not going with you. You go ahead, though. Sure. Like slippery slope, you go ahead, but I won't. And so that's what that was a picture of. We get it like sensationalized. Sometimes we're like, oh, and the Holy Spirit came upon. No. At that time, you are in a position to obey Yah and do exactly what he told you to do. And so that's people like, have you received the Ruach? Have you begun to be obedient? Right? Right? It's not like, that is the evidence. The obedience is the fruit and the evidence of having the Ruach. And so you say, oh, he had the Spirit of the Lord upon him. How? You do judge a man according to his fruit, right? The Ruach helps you bear fruit. So show me how. Oh, you are anointed. How? Like ham sandwich, anointed. Anointed, right? It's just like it doesn't line up because the Ruach should be leading you into what? All truth. Not some truth, but all truth. So that's the evidence. Even if you stumble, the Ruach is how you get back on track. David did some things he shouldn't have done, but because he was being led by the Ruach, he actually went about correcting those things according to Torah as well. So it works. Anybody else? No? Anybody want to say anything? Everybody's okay. Okay. So all those lessons for people that don't know are online at Her Royal Roots, the YouTube channel. You can go back if you missed stuff in 1 Samuel. If you're like, wait, but when did Saul do? The lessons are up there. I have to remember which lesson was the one that was not up there, and then we'll fix it sometime this week. But you can go back and kind of recap and see where we are. We go through them all pretty much the same way. And some of them I do like a Hebrew word study, so you guys can see what these words are, and I'm not just like, oh, that's a 10, and you're like, I don't know what that means. I go through and I'll break each one of them down. And then even for this one, the words, since I don't have, I could plug it to the screen, but the words that maybe I use, I can go back through and just say, okay, these are the Hebrew words from, 1 Samuel chapter 16 and write them down. Give you the definition so you can go back and study them on your own. Yes?
I have a question. So when Ash, because I noticed the way that you break down the Hebrew words, and it's like when you draw the picture, for me, it stands out so much more powerful. It's like a slap in the face. It's like how people say, how does that look? That word has a picture to it. Yeah. So as they were moving in Torah, isn't they new?
Like new.
Right.
Like how it feels when we know they like how, it wasn't like how they were sitting around like, and Samuel was like living this. There was no Samuel when this was happening. So when he spoke and said certain things like, and now the kingdom has been rent from you, he wasn't like, can you explain rent?
Right.
And can you give me the 3-letter root for that? And can you write a pictograph?
Right.
Like, he knew, like the way it was spoken, it was so concrete that there wasn't really an argument. You can even, that's why there's very little, if you read through scripture, a lot of translators, all these extra words are translators. They're trying to give you the filler space, because when Hebrews talk, it's like go. It wasn't like go where, to who, to what. And he was like, no, up. Oh, do you want me to stand up, or do you want me to climb on the chair? There was none of that. It was so direct that they knew exactly what was being said to them. So when Yah said something where he sent a prophet, they were speaking in language so precise. That's why prophets were afraid to get killed. Right. I'm getting ready to say this so sharp, it's going to cut. He's going to want to cut me physically afterwards. So that's why that was such a thing. When they spoke, it was hard language. Like sometimes we get it, like and we're gonna get in a few chapters where David goes to Nabal and asks him for some of the sheep for his men that were guarding the sheep, and he's like, "Who is David?" Right? He wasn't saying like, "I don't know who David is." He's like, "I'm not giving him nothing." Right. He said, "I'm gonna kill everything that pisses upon the wall." Right? In our mind, we're like, ooh. Right? But to them, it was probably even more direct. They wrote it like that because they wanted you to see how mad he was at the response. And sometimes we get it where it comes through really, really sharp, like how it is spoken. And that's why there's no curse words in Hebrew. There's no like, F-bombs or anything in the Hebrew language. Why? Because I'm going to say it. There are some people who have the command of language like that that'll make you want to punch them. Even if they never use a bad word, the Hebrew language is like that. It'll make you get punched without ever saying anything necessarily derogatory actually to a person because Yes.
I'm sure he's already king, Saul's already king at this point. And I don't know if because of it or not. But do you think that the Most High chose Saul intentionally to be king over to cause?
Yeah, of course. Like that idea of like, this is the gift for you as a heart. He did like this is what you're because this is what you want. I know your heart. And so Samuel tries to convince him out of it. He's like, he's going to take your men, he's going to take your boys and put them to war. And he literally does every single thing that he says to do. He literally gets people killed just pursuing David. You're fighting these people and going to mediums, and it gets real tricky. Yeah. Right? But he's doing it all in his own strength because they're thinking, you're going to get a king and this king is going to follow Yah. I don't think that's what they were thinking. I think they wanted a king that wasn't going to follow Yah. Because as long as the king wasn't following Yah, that meant that they didn't have to. And so when Samuel talks to Saul last week, he says, let's go ahead and read it. In chapter 15, it reads a little different here, and the way that it reads here is, I think, a little better. Okay? So, he says... verse 17. In your book it says, when you were small in your own eyes, right? In this literal translation it says, and Samuel said, you may look small to yourself, but you are the head of the tribes of Israel. Yahuwah anointed you king over Israel, and Yahuwah sent you on a mission, saying, and he goes on and tells me, he didn't say, oh, when you were small in your own eyes. No. You may not understand your position, But if you go astray, then they go astray too, but they wanted to go astray. So sometimes Yah will give you just what you want, to do just what you're going to do, so that you can see, now here, right? And that was that kind of situation. Until you have had a bad king, you won't know a good one. And so he sets up one that he knows. He's a good guy. You can't tell me I gave you a disadvantage. He was good from the beginning, but this was all jacked up. All this stuff. And Israel's heart was all messed up. So you got a mirror image. The king walks among the people. I chose him from without you all. So if he's bad, it's because you are. Jesse and his kids are all the way over here. And remember, they don't have a lot of money either. They're not rich people. He chooses from there, and they're kind of off in Bethlehem, in the outskirts. I'm going to choose from there. Not corrupted by all this, right? And then I'll show you what it looks like to lead and for somebody to lead the people. It was the best, pretty much 40 years that Israel had. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yes.
Okay, so you were speaking of being led by the Holy Spirit. You said to go wherever Yah wants you to go. You be guided by Yah. Is holy the same thing?
The holy is like Kodesh. So it's like, because there are other spirits. So in the next chapter, they're going to say, Yah has given you, you have gotten an evil spirit from Yah. So you can get a dysfunctional spirit from Yah that'll lead you and let you be dysfunctional. Oh yeah, that sounds good, self. Yeah, walk off the cliff, right? But we want the Ruach, the set apart spirit, which is a spirit that's set apart to Yah. But we set apart our spirit to ourselves. We have that in ourselves where we can self say, and then you say, and then so that would be the difference. So Ruach, Kodesh, or Holy Spirit, is the set apart spirit for Yah. And then there is, there's a couple others, but then there's the spirit of dysfunction, like an evil spirit. So it'd be like Ruach Ra. Yeah. But it's still called Ruach, which is interesting. It's still going to send you. It has the wind to blow and send you where it wants you to go. Did I answer that?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you're saying rock is something that's kind of negative?
It's kind of, okay, for instance, has anybody ever heard of the spirit of Christmas? It's a thing. I don't care how holy you get. I don't care how set apart you get. There's a vibe from, it really started before this, from like Thanksgiving time till literally December 25th at night. And then it's gone. It's like, it was here and then it's gone. Like, I should say December 26th. When you wake up in the morning, it's like, did it ever happen at all? And that's like for kids, I don't know if any of you were like this, but I almost hated Christmas. I was just like, it's going to be over. Everybody's gonna go home. Like, it was just like the most depressing thing after. It was like, oh, that built up. And then nobody to play with these toys with. Right? So it's that same thing where there's a spirit and it seems to feel good. It leads people, it pulls you, right? But it's leading you into destruction. But it seems and it feels good, right? Same way with Yah spirit, where it's going to lead you, but it's going to lead you in all truth. But it is a thing you can feel and it feels right. Has anybody seen Sparkle? My grandmother loved that movie. The old one. She's like, how does something that feels this good be wrong? Right? It's like that same exact vibe with the spirit, the Ruach Ra.
So
where it's evil.
Kodesh is something.
It's set apart to Yah. It's set apart. Yah employs, if you will, that direction. Because you know how, like, have you ever been to church and heard a really crappy sermon? But the spirit in the room was good, and so then you felt like everything was good, but then in the back of your mind you're like, well, it's terrible, but singing was good, so I'm just gonna let it ride. That same thing, you can have a Ruach Ra in a spiritual place, but it's not leading you toward Yah, so it's dysfunction. Yes.
Isn't everything like a spirit, like the spirit of fear, the spirit of rebellion, the spirit of hate, the spirit of joy? Everything is.
There is going to be, but it would fall under what would be functional. Because all the good things, right, the fruit of the Spirit, peace, joy, love, against those things there is no law, right? All those things, right, they're all positive. Then you're going to take all your negative and it's going to be wrong, dysfunctional. So it's like the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And Yah is the tree of life, and his Ruach, all good things flourish. When you follow his way, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because it's there. Because you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me, right? So you have yes, everything's a spirit, but in that category, you're going to have fear, which is Ra. That's dysfunction. What are you afraid of? I'm with you, right? You're going to have doubt. What are you doubting? I already told you where you're going to go. But if you're not on my path, then you're going to have those feelings because you don't know where you're going. With the spirit, with the Ruach Ra, if you will, there's always going to be that negative with it. When you're following Yah, you may experience negative, but the ultimate end is going to be walking in his way. Yes, you're going to have those things try to get in the way, but he's like, I got that. I'm taking care of it. You put the blinders on and walk forward. Like Sammy. He was like, oh, they're in here taking the fat and doing all these things. He was like, right here, because there was dysfunction. So yes, everything is either functional or dysfunctional, and there can be a whole bunch of dysfunctional things and a whole bunch of positive functional things. That makes sense?
Yes.
Anything else? Just so long for it. Okay, so while you don't grab me the wise woman thing, I can kind of kill two birds with one stone.
Is that a card?
No, it's not about chicken. So tomorrow, I give you a brief of like what we're gonna do tomorrow. So tomorrow, we're gonna go over. I don't know if anybody has a wise woman builds their house. Does anybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did by Yosh's commission. I added a few words and some updates to it so that it can work for men and women. So the woman one, if you just like your woman one, you don't have to get this one. It only has doesn't have that many differences to where yours is not functional. But if you're, she's gonna bring the whole box. Okay. So we've made a workbook, one for men, one for women. And it works for single women, it works for single men, it works for couples. Because everything in them are the same. It's like a journal. So what we're gonna do tomorrow is he's gonna take a word, and I'm gonna take a word, and they're gonna be contrary words. And he'll teach the men, I'll teach the word to the women, and then we'll come back to the same space and get to compare how our definitions go together. So this is what it looks like now. Because I knew, the reason why the major change is because I know men don't want to buy a book with pink on the front. I know. I kept my font the same because I wrote it. I can keep my font. Like, right, I was taking liberties. But I put it in gray for that reason, and I took like all the woman stuff off of it. But I guess I can tell you, we're doing follow and lead tomorrow.
Okay.
So what it means to follow and what it means to lead. And there's positive and negative charges to both words, right? Because you can lead one way and you can follow one way, and how it can work and how it can be functional, how it can be dysfunctional. So we're going to do that tomorrow. That's in this book. And so I have one that looks like this for the women, see it's in paint, and it looks womanly. And then I have one that looks like this. It's red, it looks manly. And inside of it, it's like a journal. So, and they're not pre-written because everybody's not going to go through it in their own order. I know people like, oh, I just flipped through and I was trying to find out about menstruation, so I started off on, that's your prerogative, right? So you'll be able to write your own word in the top, and then you'll be able to fill it out. I'm going to print out and give you guys a piece of paper with this printed on it so you can see how it works tomorrow. And so we can work through it so you can see what this is like. I don't have any copies, but I am going to give away a couple because I have some like author prints on me, but I didn't bring them to the Shabbat, and I didn't want anybody asking me for them. So I just brought enough to show you, and then I'll give away a couple. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow for the most part. And then we have, Malcolm will be back tomorrow, and so we'll get to do some conversation and some Hebraic relaxing and some self-care tips, because for us that's important. I'm learning more and more in time how important that is, because I tend to be a workhorse and we'll go, crash, right? So we'll get kind of into that tomorrow, and it'll be a space where we can actually, and we're expected to dialogue and talk back and forth with one another, and I won't just be sitting here. We'll sit in a circle. Does anybody have a problem with circles? Because I have an issue in some other settings with circles. I need to know now. We can sit in a square, but I want to know ahead of time. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. I literally got like a major beef because somebody was like, you guys are sitting in a circle. And I was like,
oh Lord.
Okay, I can sit in a square. I'm being so serious. Let me know ahead of time before I set up space for tomorrow. If you, and I'm serious. Email me if you don't want to say it here. And don't put your name. I'm dead serious. Because I want everyone who enters into the space to be comfortable.
Right.
To be comfortable. Dress comfortable. I probably will, if I can find my sweatpants, or something of that sort. I might be like that tomorrow because we'll be on the floor or put on something comfortable. If it's something flowy, well, something where you don't have to be like, oh, I can't sit. Yes.
When tomorrow?
12. 12 tomorrow. Here, same place. We'll be here. Yes.
Will you be selling your workbooks tomorrow or no?
I have a couple. I might. See, it's like just first come, first serve. I only brought a few because I was like,
I need the free one.
she's like, right? She's like, I said, sign up.
I'll be here.
Okay. Show up. I'll see what I have. And if not, then I'll tell you guys what we'll do tomorrow. That help? If you have Amazon Prime, then yeah. Any other questions, comments? Anybody just happy to be here?
Yeah.
Huh? Thank you. That's Jazz. That's Shosh. Hi, Shosh. If you ever hear about Shoshana on all the videos, that's the baby. That's Shosh. Jazz does all. Have you guys seen Hannah and I Project? If you haven't, oh, that's Mo. You can look it on this.
She does the.
It's really, she does that, they're like stories for the children. So they are not always like, and then Yah said, but everything is in them. It's like the book of Esther, but times 10, right? Where it's there the whole time, but you never, it may not be something that is, it's wonderful. I can't describe it. My favorite one so far, I like May I Eat It. May I Eat It? Can I eat it? May I Eat It? It's like on Clean and Unclean Food, and it's like a dad and his son, and they're going on this camping trip, and it has music, and it's really cool. A Virtuous Woman is like awesome if you haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have children, and it's not even just for children, I think it's beneficial for everybody.
I love it.
Then it's absolutely awesome. So check that out. Also, if you have children, we do Children's Shabbat lessons normally every other week on the Her Royal Roots channel. And we use the images from Bible Pathways. So if you don't know who Bible Pathways is, check them out as well. They're really cool people and they have really good content. I can't think of anything else, so I'm gonna like slide this way. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna see if he's on set. Mingle, does anybody watch Saturday Night Live?
For Jazz?
Probably like, okay, well, he's like talk amongst yourself.